Hello and welcome to Spooky Reviews. I'm the Ghostess, and in honor of the February 3rd release of Rings, I've been looking back at the movies that started it all. Today I'll be reviewing the American remake of a Japanese original, and the first of our newly revitalized trilogy, the 2002 supernatural chiller, The Ring. So, what happened? Katie and Becca are having a school uniform sleepover where they talk about the dangers of television and urban legends about a killer videotape that Katie claims she's actually seen. Katie gets a call from her mom, her television goes on mysteriously, her bedroom door has an accident, and then she dies. We meet Aiden, a troubled young boy, and Rachel, his workaholic mother, who have the strangest relationship ever. Aiden is Katie's cousin and is greatly affected by her death, and Rachel finds out about the mysterious videotape from her friends at the funeral. Rachel goes to where Katie had stayed a week before her death, finds the tape, and watches it. At first, it seems like your run-of-the-mill pretentious Korn music video, but after the tape completes, Rachel gets a mysterious call telling her that she has 7 days to live. And what does she do with that time? Day 1. Shows the tape to her baby daddy Noah. Day 2. Makes Noah a copy to look at it more closely. He doesn't believe that it's cursed, but he knows it wasn't recorded with normal means. Day 3. Rachel visits catatonic Becca in the mental hospital, who is somehow psychically connected to the situation, then takes the tape to a lab to examine footage more thoroughly and spots a lighthouse in the frame. Day 4. She easily tracks down the location of the lighthouse in the first book she opens and spots Mrs. combing her hair on the first website she Googles about the area. What luck! We identify Mrs. obviously photoshopped in as Anna Morgan, a woman who had sick horses, psychiatric issues, and eventually killed herself. Day 5. Noah starts to believe, as he also has spookifying effects after watching the tape, as Rachel's also intensify. Aiden watches the tape because he, quote, couldn't sleep, and then the phone rings. Day 6. Rachel drops Aiden off at her sister's and travels to Masiko Island by ferry, while Noah investigates Anna and her daughter Samara's mental hospital records. Rachel spooks a horse, interviews Richard Morgan about the tape, hey, Brian Cox is in this, interviews a doctor about the Morgans, goes back to the Morgan home, breaks, enters, watches some tapes, and sees Mr. Morgan commit suicide, and then continues to rummage around his house with Noah while his corpse is still twitching in the tub. All signs point to Samara being able to project her visions into people's minds, driving them crazy, and everything leads them back to the cabin where they started. Day 7. We're back at cabin number 12, where they end up axing through the floor and discover a well that the cabin was built on top of. As they're examining it, a horde of flies burst forth, and the ghost Final Destination's television, which knocks Rachel into the well. Samara's ghosty corpse grabs Rachel, showing her a vision of Anna trying to suffocate her before dropping her into the well, but Samara survived, and the last beam of light around the stone sealing the well created a bright ring. The girl survived 7 days before her suffering ended. As Rachel sees this, the ghosty corpse is seemingly released into bones. Rachel is rescued from the well, and Samara's body is exhumed to get a proper burial. But oh ho, Samara isn't done. See, she wasn't the innocent victim she portrayed herself to be in the visions. She's actually a stone-cold killer who comes after Noah on his 7th day. Rachel figures out she's only spared because she copied a VHS tape and showed it to someone else, so now Aiden must do the same, and they go on with their lives, guilty with the fact that they must spread Samara's carnage as she can never be stopped. Gut reaction. Where to begin? I like that it stuck to an aesthetic that's creepy without going over the top. It borrows nicely from the original, clearly inspired by Japanese horror techniques in general, and not just remaking it shot for shot. It uses the bluish, greenish, grayish tint that the original utilized in its supernatural moments, but this one never contrasted it with bright warm colors, so it doesn't have as much of an effect after a while. The musical score is subtle, and this was before horror movies were 100% jump scares, so the tension in horror has a fantastic balance of loud and soft, and it builds very slowly. I forgot how little it told you up front, and if you're not aware of how it ends, it actually has a lot of mystery to it. This movie has absolutely one of the creepiest child characters ever put on screen, and I'm not actually talking about this one. Jesus Christ. Every shot of this kid gives me the creeps. He never acts like a real child. He's written like he's 30, where his mom is written like she's a 13-year-old who just learned how to swear. Every time he calls her by her first name, I go, yeah, he's gonna wear his mom's skin one day. Right from the start, this character slides right past quirky child to serial killer, and I cannot get over it sometimes. I don't know why they wrote or directed him the way that they did, and I believe it marks the beginning of the trend of atmospheric children who act unnecessarily creepy considering they're a protagonist. I can't help but compare it to the Japanese original, but that's not really to its detriment. It's sort of a give and take with certain parts as to what movie I like better. The kid in the Japanese one obviously wins, but both adult main protagonists have their flaws. I think Samara's makeup is better simple like in the original, but the cinematography in the remake sets a better mood overall. I like how all the images from the video seep into the real-world hallucinations in the American one, although it sometimes feels a little on the nose and goofy when they cut to the obvious clip it's referring to. I think the Japanese plot is more interesting, but the American one does a better job showing the story in a creepy way. I think I'd rather watch the American one if given the option, but they come out to be about the same when I think about how good they were as films. 30 seconds for best bits, go! That part where Brian Cox comes out of nowhere after she breaks into his house and is watching that video of Samara in the mental hospital. The musical score. I really like the part where she picks the fly off the screen and then gets a nosebleed. The images they choose for the actual video. The set design. The constant mist and rain that hovers over the whole northwestern shore. That shot of the red leaf tree they use over and over again. Naomi Watts' increasingly psychotic reactions to the phone ringing. That look on Anna's face as she's suffocating her child is so hauntingly real that it sells the moment, even though we actually see very little of it. 30 seconds for nitpicks, go! Have people tried to record a tape in this cabin before, or did rumors about the killer tape start before anyone actually died? Just every second this kid's on screen. Why didn't they make him the killer? Why did Samara go to the fridge and leave the door open? Was she grabbing a snack before she was gonna kill Katie? Why did Anna Morgan dress like it was the turn of the century? This weird father-son relationship that makes no sense. The Japanese version isn't much better, but at least Ryuji didn't try to justify why he hasn't been in the kid's life to the kid's face. Why doesn't Rachel just try getting away from the damn horse? Final thoughts. I get why this movie made such an impact on American audiences, and started a trend in early 2000s of remaking Japanese horror films. It pays respectable homage to the original source material, while still doing its own thing with the concept. I liked watching it again, and I'll probably give it another shot sometime in the future, but maybe not anytime soon. 6 out of 10 spookies. If you enjoyed this video, please like, share, and subscribe. Follow me at Spooky Ghostess on Twitter, and to see more of my thoughts on the films, visit theghostessreviews.com. Boo for now.